Hello, landlords. It's Ernie, your landlord attorney. Today we're talking with Alina Rogers and Christy Kennard. We're talking all about the wild changes in the market and what it means for you as a landlord. Let's get started. So I am here with two members from Sparrow Realty. I have with me Alina Rogers and Christy Kennard. I'd like for them to introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about what they do.
Hi there. I'm Alina Rogers. I'm broker owner of Sparrow Realty. We're located in Manville, Texas, but we can help clients anywhere in the Houston and surrounding areas.
My name is Christy Kennard, and I have been doing real estate for about 4 years. I've been with Sparrow Realty the whole time. I decided to get into real estate just because I loved it. I love the whole process of it. I've been very interested in it. And so I made the decision to go ahead and get my license a few years ago. I've lived all over the Houston area. I started in West Houston, lived in North Houston before I moved to South Houston in the Manville Pearland area. So I feel like as a result, I've been all over the place. I'm familiar with it. And just like Allie, I'm very passionate about it, and it's just something I truly enjoy doing. It's really about helping somebody, find a home and find a new place to be.
Well, great. Well, I'm happy to have you both. And I know that landlords are interested in what's going on in the market. And so I'm figuring that it'd be a good idea to talk to two people with their finger on the pulse. And so right from the start, I want to talk about landlords who want to increase their inventory. They've got a certain number of properties. And I know, like myself, I'm thinking, is this a good time to buy?
Well, I think that, I've been reading a lot about it. We get lots of publications and things like that from different real estate outlets. And I think typically we seem to think, okay, well, when the market's really hot, like it is right now, that it's a buyer's market. I mean, that it's a seller's market. And so it's not always a good time to buy. However, so many people are moving into the Houston area that many analysts are expecting that for the next 5 or 6 years, there's just going to be a shortage in properties. And when that happens, we know naturally that the price of properties continues to increase. And so whenever we see that long-term demand, it always drives price up. So, from that perspective, I think it is a good time to buy, especially for landlords, because over the course of the next few years, there's going to, prices will continue to go up as long as there is that high demand for properties. In addition to that, I know Allie can attest to this. In the last few months, we've had clients that are really looking for homes and they're unable to win the contract on one. Houses are getting multiple offers within 24 or 48 hours. And so it has kind of forced some of those people out of the market because they're unable to get a contract on a home, and it forces them back into the rental market. And so there's definitely increased demand there.
Yeah, and I keep, because I hear other people say something quite different. In fact, I keep hearing about this bubble and that you just wait it out and wait it out. It's going to pop, that, these things can't keep growing. I mean, is there any truth to that?
I keep getting the same questions. When's the bubble going to burst? When's it going to burst? It's not like 2008. It's not a lending issue. So there is no bubble to burst, in my opinion. And actually, I was reading something earlier today. Let's see, where did it go? CoreLogic. It's an estate data company, and it projects that, this past year, I think they said it was like 18% growth. And it's going to go down, the growth. I mean, you can't keep, 18, 20, you're not going to keep increasing like that, but they expect it to drop to maybe 3%. But that's still an increase. So I think eventually the value of homes will level off. I don't think we're going to go down. And from all my lenders that I work with, I keep seeing that, rates are already slowly increasing. And that's actually a lender I spoke to today said that he's already seeing other lenders in the fours. So luckily my clients are still in the low threes, but it is already slowly climbing.
So then, okay, so part of it is these increases in interest rates, which we see. We also see, on a national level, inflation going up. Are you saying then that, there's an opportunity here to buy.
Mhm.
But if you don't buy and you wait for this bubble, you're inevitably going to pay more, and you're going to miss out on whatever rent value or whatever, potential capital you could have gained.
I believe so. And from what I've been reading and people in the industry that I've been talking to, that's kind of the same thing that keeps getting reiterated. This isn't 2008 where we're going to see a bunch of foreclosures next year and you're going to get great deals right and left. It's not like that at all. It's completely different.
I hope you are enjoying the video so far. If so, give us a like. Any questions or comments on what we've covered today, let us know in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. Well, so you're talking about like market factors that are affecting this. Are there any other things? What about this? These out-of-staters who are coming into Texas. We talked about a little bit earlier. What effect are they having on on the market and the availability of houses?
It's very difficult when I had a buyer recently from Texas just wanting to upgrade to a little bit bigger home for their family. And we were just looking at houses and houses, putting offer after offer after offer, and they finally got one that they loved. But a lot of them were outbid by a cash deal, and a lot of them, were from out of state. And so what I've learned over the past year is there's been people from New York, even my clients that I've gotten that have moved here from out of state, either moving here to live here themselves, or someone from New York that bought a house over here in Pearland has no intentions of moving here anytime soon. They bought it as an investment property, with the intention of maybe we might move to Texas someday. So we've seen people from California, from Texas, a lot from California, I'm sorry, not Texas, California and New York, moving to Texas, either moving for work or other reasons, or for investment properties. But the buyers here that are trying to buy, they can't compete with a cash deal, because in California, you pay $300,000 for a house. Oh, that's great, I'll pay cash. And then you have someone here trying to buy, using a conventional loan, FHA loan, whatever it may be, and okay, well, and then a seller looks at their options. Well, let's take the cash deal. It's easy and quick. So it does make it difficult for buyers. But we have seen a lot of out of state for sure.
Well, okay, so I see a pretty bleak picture out there. You've got a lot of interested buyers, even buyers that are coming from outside the state of Texas. You've got interested buyers in the state of Texas, and a limited a number of houses that are available for them. What effect is this having on, say, rent prices?
I'm seeing a huge, I wouldn't say huge, incremental is probably a better word, of what it's costing to rent a house. So I have a client that's currently leasing in Missouri City, which is a suburb around here. And she wants to move to Manville, which is just 15 minutes down the road. And she rented her house 2 or 3 years ago. And so now she was wanting to look for a home right down the road for about the same price. And we can't find anything that's similar to her house that's in the same price range. Everything is about $200 a month more. And, a couple years ago when she rented her house, she looked in all the different areas and the houses were about the same. So you do see, some small changes, but I think that just goes with, the demand of the homes. There's a higher demand for some renters. Like, we had talked about before, that whenever you've got people who are trying to buy a home and they can't buy a home, they're entering into the rental market, and maybe they weren't there in the rental market before. I've had some people that sold a home with the anticipation of buying a new one, and then they find a house to buy. So they're forced to go back into the rental market, even though they were previously homeowners. And so you've got new people into that market, which of course is going to increase demand and raise prices. And then you have homes that are worth more money, which in return demand a greater rental price. So I just think across the board, there's multiple factors that are causing the cost of monthly rent to increase.
Well, I think you've given a lot for landlords to consider. If they are interested in buying, one of the strategies you talked about is be ready with cash. If you can make a cash offer, you're much better off competing against some of these other guys. But if you can't, well, then think about the inventory you do have, and potentially consider, from what I'm hearing, even rent increases if you're going to listen to what the market is saying with regard to demand. So yeah, you've given us a lot to think about. I appreciate you both lending your time. And for those of you who have questions, I'm sure Alina and Christy would be happy to take your questions. Their contact information is here on the screen. Feel free to reach out to them. But for all of you who watch, thank you so much to you both for joining me. And for all you landlords out there, happy leasing. See you next time.